Well, the answer is not currently, but this has been something that I've been considering for a while. There are two possible avenues that I think are worth exploring for me, and therefore for you or for potential people who'd be potentially interested in availing of these services. So the avenue number one is an INFJ typing service. So basically, a service whereby we have a conversation, or you send me a video, but I think a live conversation via Zoom or some other such app would probably be best. We have a conversation, and basically I guide you towards sort of identifying the kind of INFJ you are. Or alternatively, and this is always something that you have to be aware of and ready to face, is the possibility that I tell you that I don't think you're an INFJ, and that, or at least that you would benefit from exploring potential other types. I'm not one of these people or one of these experts that would provide you with a service whereby we have a conversation, then I tell you what type you are. At least this is not yet something that I'm ready to take on, because so much of my focus, so much of my specialization has been on the INFJ, and these two books, the Ecstatic Soul and the Infinite Soul, which you can get below, by the way. They are kind of parts of my expertise. And obviously, whether this Ecstatic Soul looking at the INFJ consciousness and the Infinite Soul looking at INFJ life in the modern world, more concrete sort of life and how to find meaning and purpose in a world that is often hostile. I mean, if you like, a lot of what these books are about is the different kinds of INFJs that you can be. So I think that compared to most, I probably have a keen sense of different kinds of, sometimes I call them subtypes, sometimes I call them families, but different kinds of INFJs you can be, because there's not a single type of INFJ. And if you're curious about that, if you're willing to do some self-exploration, understand yourself better as an INFJ, then this is probably something I can help with. And like I said, an alternative would be that I direct you at least to consider other possibilities for yourself. Maybe I'll tell you, hey, look at the INFP vocabulary or some other thing. Because I have to be honest, I can't just tell you what you want to hear. So that's a kind of, it is a typing service that I'm considering developing. It's not current at the moment, but it could quickly happen if I saw that the interest was there. I think it would have to come with developing websites and things like that. I think my wife can probably help with that. She likes that kind of thing, because I'm not really good at that kind of tech stuff. In fact, the very fact I call it tech stuff is probably revealing. Now, the other avenue is more like an INFJ coaching program, where we look at, so that would be like probably in different sessions, and we talk about the difference, sort of, maybe the person seeks to deepen their understanding of the INFJ personality and of the way that they embody this INFJ personality. They want to explore certain ways in which they can experience life and experience what they're going through or what they're engaged in through an INFJ perspective. Can that be helpful? Would it actually limit them? So exploring like the possibilities life offers through an INFJ lens, and learning to best use the INFJ vocabulary to to extract the maximal value, in a sense, from that language, from that framework, in order to apply it to life. That would sort of come to the Infinite Soul topic, in a sense. So in a sense, that would be almost like a more in-depth look at the kind of INFJ you are and of your possibilities. And this is something that I think I'm up for that too. I'm up to the task, I think. But as always, I think that before I launch things like this, I want to, sort of try to gauge the interest that people have. And for me, it's not quite clear yet what the interest is. I do get occasionally, like, maybe once a month or something, I get people asking me, do you provide typing services? Would you consider INFJ coaching? And I answer them that I don't, but I can do it on a case-by-case basis. Give my email. Usually they don't write to me, Perhaps this is like the process, it becomes too complicated and indirect for them or something like that. But yeah, it is something that I could definitely formalize. I'm trying to get a sense of, does that have potential? Would people be interested? Or, just to get a sense of like, how much of an interest is there in that, Or could it be that people are happy to just read my books? Because that could be the case as well. So, the comment section to this video is one way that you could sort of inform me, give me your feedback, or at least what you think is your position in regard to this topic. Very frankly, very candidly, is that something that you would ever consider? If that is something that you would ever consider, is that something that you would trust me with, or you think that I'd be a good conduit for this kind of exploration? Yeah, let me know your thoughts. Because, this is actually part of my thought process. The last time I released a video about this topic, I was talking about doing this for my Patreon supporters, but I think my Patreon supporters themselves, they came to me and said, we want to support your channel because, we love your work and we want your channel to keep going. By the way, if you want to support me on Patreon, really helps the channel, keeps it going essentially. The link is below, and it's not that expensive, and you can interact with me, get some bonus content. We even do some readings of young excerpts. So yeah, like this is something that I would be very grateful for. But they said, no, like if you're going to put in so much work into like, a typing service and INFJ coaching, you should get appropriately remunerated. So there would be a kind of fee or whatever, and something that could be discussed further down the line. So my thought is evolving, and I'm still thinking about it more and more practically. And this is why I wanted to probe you again a little bit in this video. So let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you soon, guys. Thank you so much for your feedback. Bye-bye.